I want you off this property right now. Take your boxes and get out. I'm not asking again.
You know, the worst feeling in the world isn't grief. It's watching the last piece of the person you loved get deliberately, maliciously destroyed, and feeling absolutely helpless to stop it. And that is exactly what Diana Winslow, our HOA president, tried to do to me. She called the cops on me, not for a crime, but for moving out of my own home. And that call ended up costing her everything. This whole mess started with a basil plant and a contract. 6 weeks ago, I, Elias Vance, finally secured a 5-year contract with the major city hospital chain to supply all their organic produce. It was the opportunity I'd spent 3 years building, the fulfillment of my late wife Sarah's dream. Sarah was a nurse. She believed food was medicine. And before cancer took her, I promised her I'd grow the cleanest, healthiest food possible. That hospital contract was destiny calling, my chance to truly honor her memory. But the moment I hammered the for sale sign into my lawn in Fairview Estates, Diana Winslow appeared across the street. 50-something, impeccably dressed in designer yoga wear she never used, blonde hair styled like a helmet. Diana ruled our HOA with a French manicured iron fist. She'd hated me ever since I successfully sued her HOA board 2 years ago to keep my vegetable garden, my memorial garden. I called it, in the front yard, proving the heirloom tomatoes actually raised property values. Elias, she purred, that fake sweet voice that always signaled venom. You're not actually leaving our beautiful community, are you? Such a shame, especially with all our intricate property transfer bylaws. She was already referencing Section 12, the hidden, murky part of the HOA Constitution. Within hours, the first orange violation sticker appeared, a $500 fine for my delivery truck being parked in my own driveway for more than 2 hours. The rule was obscure, rarely enforced, but Diana had weaponized it. I paid the fine, but not before I hit record when she came to collect. "This is just the beginning, Elias," she hissed, thinking the mic was off. "I'll make sure you never leave this place. You think you can just abandon your responsibilities? Think again. I know people, important people, and they owe me favors," and she wasn't lying. 2 days later, my potential buyer, a serious cash offer, backed out, citing history and community issues. My realtor reluctantly forwarded me an email from Diana, sent to every resident in Fairview Estates, accusing me of skipping out on 47 fictitious HOA debts and violations. She had mixed enough old truth with absolute outrageous lies to create a masterful piece of deception. Reading it, I felt a helpless, choking rage, the same feeling I had when Sarah received her final diagnosis. Diana was actively destroying my chance to honor Sarah's memory. But I remembered Sarah's last words. "Promise me you'll never fight with fists or fury, Elias. Fight with wisdom and patience. That's how good people win." So I didn't march over there. I sat down and started meticulously documenting everything. Every email, every lie, every interaction. If Diana wanted a war, she was going to fight it on my terms with evidence. The escalation was brutal. My moving company canceled, terrified of an illegal permits lawsuit Diana had threatened. Then, Maria Sanchez, the kind owner of the Maple Street Bakery and a fellow HOA board member, a good soul often silenced by Diana's clique, knocked on my back door, glancing nervously over her shoulder. Elias, we need to talk, not here. Diana has Chet watching your house." Chet was Diana's newest boyfriend, a 48-year-old hulking unemployed veteran who spent his days sitting in a beat-up white van, enforcing HOA rules by lurking and staring. Maria, clutching a worn notebook, revealed the terrifying truth. Diana had used this exact playbook, harassment, false fines, intimidation, on 3 other families, forcing them to sell their homes significantly below market value, only for Diana's younger sister to buy them under various LLCs. "She's getting worse," Maria whispered, her voice trembling. "Last week she told me if I didn't vote her way, she'd burn down my bakery." She said it with a smile. Armed with Maria's 2 years of hidden documentation, our counterattack began. I became the bait, continuing to pack, forcing Diana to overreach. She took it spectacularly. She tried to have my truck towed, only to have the tow truck driver, a former customer who swore my vegetables cured his wife's chronic heartburn, laugh in her face and drive away. That evening, in a panic, Diana rammed through an illegal emergency HOA rule. No homeowner could move out within 90 days of listing their property. Maria, the silent hero, secretly live-streamed the entire chaotic meeting, capturing Diana screaming threats at elderly residents and openly admitting, "Nobody leaves Fairview Estates without my permission." The comment section exploded, and someone noticed the clear outline of a switchblade in Diana's designer purse just before Maria scrambled to safety. Then came the attack on Sarah's memory. Diana used one of her shell companies to cut off my power and water for emergency maintenance. In the 95-degree summer heat, my automated irrigation system failed. I watched helplessly as thousands of dollars worth of carefully cultivated vegetables, the heirloom varieties Sarah and I had saved for years, the physical link to my wife, began to wilt and die. The isolation was crushing, customers were scared away, and the hospital contract was hanging by a thread. I sat on my porch, utterly defeated, when my son Daniel, a young officer with the Lakewood Police Department 3 hours away, called. "Dad, I saw the meeting video. This is escalating. You need to file a proper report." I explained Diana's connections. Her sister-in-law was the police dispatch supervisor, making all my reports mysteriously disappear. "Then let me help," Daniel insisted. "I have vacation time saved up." I knew I shouldn't let him get involved, but I was out of options. Sarah's dream was dying, and my son was throwing me a lifeline. That night, as I sat on my sweltering porch trying to cool down, writing my weekly letter to Sarah, Chet was across the street, constantly flashing his camera, photographing me through the glass. My phone buzzed with Daniel's text. "Requested time off approved. See you tomorrow, Dad. Don't worry, everything's going to be okay." I wanted to believe him, but Diana had been doing her own homework. Maria's frantic text arrived. "Elias, Chet has been asking everyone about Daniel. He knows Daniel's a cop. Diana's planning something huge. Be careful, I should have listened." Friday morning, the air was thick, oppressive. Diana knew Daniel was arriving. She had one more utterly psychotic card to play. I was desperately hand-watering the wilting plants when Diana drove up with Chet, flashing a satisfied smirk. "Elias, I'm giving you 24 hours to restore utilities or face immediate eviction proceedings. A house without power is uninhabitable." That was it. 3 years of grief, weeks of harassment, the sight of Sarah's basil struggling. I finally broke. My wife died of cancer 3 years ago. I screamed, the words tearing from my throat, tears streaming down my face. She wanted me to keep growing. "That basil plant was the last thing she planted. You are destroying everything she loved because I wounded your pride over a stupid garden ordinance." The raw pain silenced the street. Diana's mask slipped, revealing the bitter small woman underneath. "Save your sob story for someone who cares, Elias," she sneered. Mental instability is just another violation. But Maria was there, recording every raw, agonizing second from her car. The video, titled "HOA President Terrorizes Widower Trying to Honor Late Wife's Dying Wish," went immediately viral. Diana was trending. Local businesses started openly supporting me, but it was too late. The damage was done. Daniel arrived that evening, parking discreetly. He hugged me, and I finally let 3 years of stoicism crumble, sobbing into my son's shoulder. We talked tactics, but the air felt charged, ominous. Then Diana's car pulled up directly across the street. She sat there staring, before typing furiously on her phone. Maria's text lit up Daniel's screen. "Diana just called the police. She's claiming an armed intruder is threatening you. She's pointing at Daniel!" The night exploded. 5 patrol cars screamed onto our quiet street, lights blazing. Officers leaped out, weapons drawn, shouting commands. Diana had used her sister-in-law in dispatch to call in a lethal, fake threat. Daniel, a professional to his core, immediately stood up, hands raised. "Dad, stay calm," he whispered. "Don't move." The lead officer, gun trained on my son, yelled, "Armed suspect, come out with your hands visible." "I'm Officer Daniel Vance, badge number 2847, Lakewood Police Department. I am off duty visiting my father. My service weapon is holstered. I am moving slowly to show identification." Daniel's voice was clear, authoritative, trained to de-escalate. But Diana's voice cut through the air, shrill and venomous. "That's him. He's dangerous. He's probably fake law enforcement." The absurdity was deadly. A cop being held at gunpoint by fellow officers, all because of a vengeful HOA president. The lead officer hesitated, protocol battling disbelief. The tension was unbearable. When Sergeant Ricardo Sanchez, Maria's husband, A man who had been building his own file on Diana since she threatened his wife's bakery, pulled up. "Stand down," Sergeant Sanchez barked, badge visible. "That's Officer Vance from Lakewood. I know him personally." The lead officer finally lowered his weapon, relief replacing aggression. But Diana wasn't done. She stomped across the street, Chet trailing, her face a mask of pure, unhinged fury. "Why aren't you arresting him?" she screamed. "He's trespassing! He assaulted me!" Sergeant Sanchez, Ricardo, turned to Chet. "Mike Stevens, is that your name? Are you aware you are currently under a restraining order prohibiting you from surveilling citizens?" Chet went pale, realizing Diana's revenge had just exposed his own criminal history. That's different. "She hired me," he stammered. "Conspiracy to commit harassment in violation of a restraining order, Mr. Stevens," Ricardo replied, his smile gone. "You're done." The final nail went into Diana's coffin when Daniel calmly pulled out his phone, showing Ricardo the video evidence. Diana cutting utilities, the HOA meltdown, Chet's surveillance photos. In a final, desperate act, completely unhinged, Diana lunged at Daniel and slapped him across the face. The sound echoed like a gunshot. Assaulting a police officer, even off-duty, even cross-jurisdiction, it was a federal felony. Ricardo reached for his handcuffs. "Diana Whitmore, you are under arrest for assault on a police officer, filing a false police report, and criminal harassment." As he went to cuff her, she tried to flee, but her designer heels caught on the edge of the lawn. She stumbled, falling face first, not onto the grass but right into my ruined memorial garden, crushing the last of the heirloom tomatoes. Chet tried to bolt, but tripped over Diana's decorative, illegally placed concrete planters. Two bullies, undone by vegetables and their own arrogance. Later, the FBI revealed Diana was part of a massive real estate fraud ring involving a local judge, using the HOA to force foreclosures and property sales. Diana didn't just lose her freedom. She lost everything, ordered to pay full restitution to all her victims. Today, Maria Sanchez is the new HOA president, and her first act was to eliminate every single one of Diana's toxic rules. My garden is thriving again, thanks to neighbors who came together to help me replant. The memory of Sarah is now rooted, not just in my garden, but in a community that finally learned the power of true solidarity. I want to hear from you. What is the worst, most ridiculous HOA rule or power trip you have ever witnessed? Do you think Diana got what she deserved, or did the police go too far even if she was wrong? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and share this story.